This bolt joint is not doing anyone any favors. All right, so I fully took the suspension out. I got that sitting there, and I have that sitting on the piece of wood so I don't rip that line off. I got all the front suspension on this side. Almost done on this side. It's probably been taking me about 4 or 5 hours to do. I had to remove the steering rack in order to get to this control arm right here, and as you can tell, it's completely rotted, and the same thing happened. The spring broke on the perch, and it's just like sitting there and like welded it to it. So yeah, this doesn't look too bad. The perches and the wheel wells don't look like terrible. Definitely not as bad as most Mustangs, but this lower ball joint's blown out. Everything, all these tie rod ends, the inner tie rods actually don't move at all, so I'm probably not even going to replace it just to save some time. I probably shouldn't. It should just replace it, but I'll check it out. When I pull these outer tie rods off, I'll give it a look over and see what's up. I mean, other than that, I got to take this control arm out, and then it's pretty much just like a waiting for parts game. I still have to do the rear suspension, which I'm hoping is going to be a little bit easier. I am going to, I don't know what kind of setup. You can't see it from there anyway. I'm going to, luckily, I think the rear is a little easier because I can just lower the axle, cut the springs, put the lowering springs on, and put the axle back up. Shouldn't be too bad. So I got some parts in that I do need for the engine and stuff, but I think I'm gonna focus on like doing one thing at a time. Hopefully getting the suspension done first, and then doing stuff like the cracked header. And I plan on I'm just right now, literally what I'm doing is I'm just going over the car completely so it'll be reliable and what I need it to do, so I can get the Celica in here and put the engine in the Celica, because I want to get that painted and drive that as well. But first things first, I got to fix the car that I need to drive around in. So yeah, this is what we're working with, guys. So I'm not gonna end the video. I am probably gonna come back tomorrow and finish or continue to work on it and see what happens. So yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So what's funny about this, when I was taking a look at them at work, obviously I really didn't notice this because the spring was sitting inside and it's solid from the outside. So I didn't notice the rot that was around the actual perch itself. These bushings aren't in terrible condition. They are dry rotted, but they're not terrible. And when I was feeling around for play in the wheel area, like, I didn't really feel much, but this is just shot. Like, you're not supposed to be able to move that like freely at all, and it just has so much play, and it's notchy and just doesn't work right. So that's going in the junk pile with all the rest of this crap. And I mean, yeah, like, I didn't feel that, but I have new ones that I'm ready to install. I just finished taking this side apart, but I can't really put it together because I might need new bolts. I'm gonna check and see how good I can, hang on, you can't see that well. I'm gonna check and see how good I can clean these up and see if I can even get some threads like on it, because these are just so dirty and difficult to get out. Also, this on the top right here, I guess this used to be a locking nut because there's a bunch of like goop up at the top, which is usually that like blue adhesive like Loctite that you get on top of like bolts like this. So I'm gonna see if I can clean these up a little bit. This probably won't be an issue, but that bolt might be an issue. And plus I had to cut a bolt on the other side as well, so I might not have a choice here. So I'm gonna check it out, see what I can do, and I'll catch you guys when I'm gonna put it back together. All right, so I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna have to get new bolts. I might only have to get like 2. These ones seem in good shape. I'm gonna try to thread those ones on, but this one was pretty bad. I tried cleaning it up some, and as you can see, these threads are just really trashed underneath all that like gunk that I cleaned up. And right here is about as far as the bolt will go down. So yeah, the camera won't focus. But yeah, so that's about as far as the bolt will go down. So I'm gonna have to just get some bolts. I don't know if I should just replace all 4. I probably will. I'm also gonna do an unboxing video, so maybe the box with the control arms in it has new bolts, but I doubt it. They usually don't do that. I'm gonna check it out though. But I'm just going to wrap it up for the night. I'm not ending the video, but I think I'm just wrapping it up for the night for myself. And I'll be back to put the control arms in. So back in the shop with the Mustang, and I'm going to tackle putting in the lower the rear lowering springs. I ordered a new set of bolts for the front since I couldn't just go and get them from any hardware store. So for the front control arms, I have bolts coming in. I'm going to get the rear lowering springs in first. I'm going to put those isolators on. Then I'm going to kind of show you what I'm doing on how I'm going to lower the axle and put the new ones in. Then after lowering springs, I'm going to do some work in the engine bay. Okay, so I have the axle, yes, that's what I meant to say. I have the axle lowered as low down as possible. And I have this coil spring right here that has the tension taken off of it. So I'm going to cut the coil spring out. It might not have all the tension off of it, but I am going to be like pushing down on this so it relieves the most tension as possible. Do not attempt doing this unless you really lower the axle. The reason why it's not getting lowered fully is, sorry guys, my bad, I just got cut off there. But I put the lowering springs in, and they're in on that side too. They weren't too bad at all. That side, I did not need to like compress a whole lot to put that spring in. This side, I needed to compress the spring just ever so slightly to put it in. But I think the reason is because maybe that upper control arm has a little bit more play than this side does. So that could definitely contribute to it. But for now, I'm going to jack the car back up and put the shocks back in the locations and tighten them up and see what these lowering springs look like compressed. All right, so the rear springs are in and the shocks are in. Lower the jack all the way. Time to move on to the front of the car. All right, so I got most of the stuff done. I replaced all the spark plugs and stuff on this side, which was a real pain in the butt. Throttle body's back on. I'm gonna let that cure. I left like the intake and stuff off because I have to because I was putting the spark plugs in, and I want that throttle body to cure before I tighten it all the way. Rear lowering springs are in. What was I doing? Spark plugs on this side I am changing. I did come into an issue though. So I'm also changing the header on this side, and I started to take the bolts out down there and only one of them came out. The other one's really stuck, and not even my 1/2-inch impact that I'm charging can take it out. Another thing, I loosened up all these bolts and I started changing the spark plugs, and one of the, I don't think you can see it, but one of the boots on the spark plugs got stuck on the spark plug. So I'm like, okay, I'll leave that. Let me take the header off so I can get better leverage at it, because I got to change the header anyway. And I went to go take the header off, and the studs were coming out of the block with it. So now I got to get like double nuts and re-thread those studs into the side of the block. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. It's getting late and I'm pretty tired. So I did accomplish some stuff, and I mean, this is pretty much what took me all the hours. I think I'm gonna come like earlier tomorrow, and then I'm gonna bang out like all the simple stuff like the radiator hoses and the belts, and throw the front tie rods back on, the steering rack and all that stuff. And then yeah, like throw the offset rack bushings in, because my control arm bolts won't be here until Friday, so I can't really do anything with the front suspension until I get the front control arm bolts. So yeah, I'm just really doing a little bit of this at a time. So yeah, I'm gonna end this video off here. Thank you guys for watching. I'm just wondering if I'm missing anything really quick. I don't think I am though. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video. This is gonna be like pretty much like a part 1. So yeah, catch you guys later. Peace out.